Hey.
Hey, what's up,
Hey.
everyone?
Hey, man.
What up, man? Welcome to Bodega Nights. We are the premier longest running show in Channel 14 history.
Wait
That's
till I
true.
release a third world Linux episode.
And then it becomes the second longest running Channel 14 program in history.
We're back,
We
people.
got Joao and Ironic Gamer, and I'm Martin. And shout outs to Norm. He can't make it today because there's a house visit tonight. So hope everything's well. So yeah.
A house visit, like
The
he's
Inquisitors have come.
going to be like looking at houses, or like
No,
like
someone's visiting
somebody's-
his house.
okay,
Ah.
right. Like
The
a house
Inquisition
visit.
has finally come for him.
Yeah,
Like
they
at
saw
9 in
his
the
witch-
evening.
He
They saw
didn't
his
expect
witchcraft
it.
on the video. It's like,
Oh yeah, dude.
he's a witch.
How does he become invisible?
Like, it's
They saw the
technology.
video.
No.
Now they're knocking on his door. We've seen this paranormal activity in this video from Channel 14.
I
Are
just
you Norman
realized that
Tan?
Martin. I just
Yes.
realized that Martin here also has the same thing going on. Like
True, but at least his tone matches his background
Yeah.
more than Norm. Norm just
yes,
like
exactly.
Dooms decided, no, you.
No, because for me,
He
it's
has
really the
excuse of
whiteness.
blending in. Norm does not. It's so contrasting. It's literally just his skin. Even his hairline, you could see the bits. Just cuts it out perfectly.
right. No.
I still
I
want to
mean-
know how. Like that's the ancient awesomeness of Norm, I guess. It's like, look what I can do. Haha.
Ancient
It's like-
Chinese secret.
It's a Zoom thing though, right? Like
Yeah.
I've honestly never really tried using like backgrounds on the Zoom, so you guys can
I have to
continue talking. I'll try to look for the background.
I have to assume that because I mean, if I was trying to fix it up, this will not work. Like I have so much different tones here because of how the light's hitting me. It shouldn't chroma remove that. Like maybe this part's too white here, this
I'm
part's
that's
here.
fine.
But look at Joao. It's like it knows what to remove. For
Yeah,
Norm,
look
it just
at the
goes
mic.
skin tone must be deleted.
There, right.
Oh, okay.
See, yours is like working how Norm should, but Norm's
Yeah.
just says delete the flesh.
I
Let's-
don't know, man.
Well, let's see what happens if I use my computer webcam. See if it
Oh,
makes
it's
Oh yeah, you.
oh,
That's why
dude,
your
it
thing is nice.
sucks. That's why mine sucks. Because I'm using my laptop.
this
and
looks
my laptop's
terrible, right?
cool.
Let's see what this
Yeah.
looks like, bro. I mean, it's still fine.
Wow, it's still better. What the hell?
Yeah, dude.
But again,
That's
Norm
so
is a
weird.
witch. That's why the Inquisition has come for him.
A house
Next radio
visit.
Norm.
Where is it?
Next radio Norm's gonna be like in hiding. This radio Norm, the Inquisition has come for me. They saw my terrible powers.
Wait, where is my?
Where's Joao?
Oh, I lost.
I think
it.
the
Oh,
Inquisition
there,
has come for him too.
there it
Miko.
is. There we go. There we go. I'm back.
Okay.
Thank heavens, I'm back. So it's episode 101 of Bodega Nights, apparently, or it is our
Yeah.
101st episode. And
And we
Back to
have
basics,
no
101.
Dalmatians. We
Yeah,
have no
but-
Dalmatians around.
Oh, we went two complete different ways. One guy went Martin went Dalmatian. I went back to basics. 101. Yeah. What's
Well,
Bodega
so-
101?
I guess
Well,
this is a reminiscing episode. 'Cause
yeah,
I'm
but-
here with Joao and Miko, who were
This
in the
is-
first set of episodes of Bodega Nights with
this is
Paolo.
what we were talking about, like before you showed up, me. We were talking about like how Bodega Nights. We were talking about old Bodega Nights episodes and
Oh, those dark
all
days.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, the dark days.
I don't go back there. I experienced it once. I don't need to refresh myself.
before we were decent at podcasting, right? Like all of that terrible stuff that we said.
Hey, at least
Hey.
At one point, we should have done like reactions, like just watch episode 1 and watch episode 101 and just see what 100 episodes does.
Right.
Well, Bodega Nights episode 0, part 1 and part 2 are
No,
counted as episodes
reaction
1 and 2.
to after 100 episodes.
Ah.
How did we start to how we are now? Oh,
It started in September of 2013.
My
You
did
guys
it
were
start,
talking about
actually?
Batfleck, Segways, and Pizza on the first part, RoboCop, Ghost Shark, and Microsoft on the other. Well, but
That
that
Huh.
was AG, Box, Sima, Joao, Norm, and John.
Yeah,
huh.
that sounds like your thing because I don't remember talking about any of those things.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
guys joined episode 3 when it was you, Miko, well, it's you, Joao, and Paolo. It's the Cebu app with
Oh,
GTA
okay.
5 and the Uncanny Valley and
Oh yeah, I
Farm
remember that one.
Simulator.
That pretty much what create. That's like the essentially the third world gaming pilot episode
Yep,
is what.
Right.
it was
So
the
pretty much
pilot.
Paolo and I consider this was
Right.
that was the unofficial pilot episode.
That was
So it's fun how Bodega became a pilot run for third world gaming when you think about it.
It's pretty much Cheers and everything else is just like an offshoot. So are we Frasier?
Yeah,
I
Or is
don't
I
that
know.
guess
Norm?
so.
We are Cheers, right? Bodega Nights
Yeah,
is
this is
Cheers.
Cheers.
Everything
Yeah.
else, like third world gaming, was
Yeah,
this is also sort of like the test bed for everything that we do. Um,
Oh yeah.
I know.
the pilot for Class Record came out on here as well.
Yes, I
of-
remember.
Right?
Did the
Like,
radio norm concept come from here as well?
oh yeah, did it?
I
Because I remember
don't.
Norm mentioning and playing with the idea and like I think doing like a really short soliloquy of some sort. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
that's kind of amusing.
That's
And
kinda
then
cool.
and then Radio Norm was born. But I do know that we played an episode of Radio
Oh
Norm
my god,
on this feed.
you did. Bodega Nights, Norm and Zhao set up Radio Norm.
Yeah, I mean, like this is pretty
my
much where
God.
all of our ideas just sort of
This is where ideas come to thrive or die.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they either thrive or die out there on their own RSS feed. What happens here is we're like, yeah, let's try it out.
Let's try it out. I think for me, I just joined after the running joke stopped because I finally have a mic.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was
We used
hilarious.
to like Martin, then just nothing. Like we'd hear like a inhale or something, and then we stopped.
Yeah. And it was for those first couple of years, right? The running joke was Martin was the person we'd always talk about but would never show up
Yeah.
in an episode of in any of our episodes, and then started doing jobber talk, which was kind of awesome. Like
Yeah, that was a fun
Oh my
series.
god.
that was
That was a fun show. Rest in
that was
peace.
great, dude.
Wrestle in
Like,
peace.
Yeah, wrestle in
Rest
peace.
in peace.
Freaking Jobber Talk reached 100 episodes faster than Bodega Nights did.
In
I
fairness,
know.
Jobber Talk had a schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, Bodega Nights reached episode 100. I mean, Third World Gaming, it took us, what, August to have episode 69?
Nice.
Nice.
The most regular show for the longest time was actually Third World Linux, and then AG started
know.
flaking out. But then that's neither here nor there. But that was the first one to reach episode 100, and then the next one was supposed to be Bodega Nights, but
Well, real
know.
life took over, man.
yeah,
Our
and
schedules.
what was it?
Third World
Then,
Internet.
Yep.
Then
It was
it was
supposed to
the-
be.
Oh no, go ahead, Mik.
Yeah, what's it? Was it supposed to be like after Bodega Nights, but then became Jobber Talk number 2 or Jobber Talk number 3 that hit 100? Number 2. So Jobber Talk 2 or 3. Second one that came in
Yeah,
with 100 episodes. So we have to say that Jobber Talk came in with the steel chair and just took out, Bodega Nights.
oh,
Wait, hold on.
Wait.
I have something.
backwards. Oh,
You have a steel chair?
oh no.
He does.
Oh!
Here comes Bodega Nights coming in for the second place mission. Oh, what is this coming after the dark? It's Jobber Talk with a chair.
Oh, God!
That was I don't know, man. I really love that show though, Jobber Talk. Like,
That was
with,
a fun show.
I love the intro song. Even the wrestlers were singing along to it when I say, hey, nice show. Thanks, Martin. Martin! Jobber!
like yeah, like Martin
Okay.
became like Martin became kind of a meme in that
Local.
PWR sort of um
Community.
in the PWR community, yeah, which is pretty cool. Like back when you were in Manila, you were like one of the, I'm not gonna say pillars, but you were, one of the people that were, yeah, one of the semi pillars of the Philippine wrestling scene, at least when it comes to like media, like you and Smart Henry and all of those guys.
Every time I think Mark Henry, I don't know why I have an image of some. Was that also the name of that old American
Wrestler?
story about the guy who was able to
Oh,
beat the train? Who the
oh no.
wrestler might be based off?
I don't
No, no,
remember,
no,
but
no.
yeah, it was like an
Um,
old American.
Wait. Joao mentioned Smart Henry. It's ironically a publishing blog that's written by then PWR wrestlers and some columnists. But now the same people have left PWR like July 31st because of a certain issue, which is tied to an issue me and Miko were talking about, which was the cheating and the sexual harassment thing from a certain company that's involved in esports.
Are
Ah,
we are we
We're not
transitioning
talking
to
of.
the outrage section?
Oh, not
if
yet,
we're
not
going to
yet.
that section,
This
I will
this
have
is
to
a
be
lead
very
up.
diplomatic.
Yeah, because we have friends in both industries. That's what sucks.
Yes,
Looks like
I'm
we're not
currently technically
talking
in that
about it then.
industry.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Looks
not
like we're
in
not
the.
talking about it.
But yeah, back to
For
Smart
fear
Henry.
of alienating audiences.
Smart Henry is a play on words. Basically, smart. It's like Smart Mark or the Smart Fan, wrestling fan. And then it rhymes with Mark Henry, who's a former weightlifting Olympian who is now known as Mark Henry, the WWE wrestler, who has that song of "Somebody's gonna get their ass kicked." Somebody's gonna. So it's their tribute to the wrestler Mark Henry.
Oh, okay, that's a long, convoluted story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a funny play on words, and yeah, it's a tribute to a wrestler who I think is retired now because damn, he's old.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about like some of the wrestling I used to watch. And I realized, yeah, those people are not wrestling more anymore. Already
Yeah,
now, like in like back scene roles and stuff. Like they don't come out anymore.
they
I
can't
Yeah.
still
because they're too
remember the
old.
days of Hulk Hogan.
Me too.
Brother,
Hey,
brother.
brother. But then and like
Bro.
the the wrestlers from like when we were a little bit older are starting to like retire
Are
as
old
well,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Like John Cena is now like transitioning into acting, and so is
Yes.
Batista, right? Like,
I
Yep.
do love his acting where
Batista's
he's
retired.
so bad it's fun to watch.
Wait, which one? Cena or Batista?
Cena, but he's pretty chill. Like
no, but
Cena, you
Yeah.
can see he's trying to be like a really strict up professional actor, but it just
But
does not work. I just see wrestler. I don't see anything else beyond it.
you can
I
see him.
think what he. You see John Cena?
Sorry.
How
Oh
could you?
god,
I
all
can't
the
even
memes
see
that came
him.
out from that movie where like a sniper was trying to get him. Oh my god, hacks! He can find him. Like this is the dumbest movie ever. He's like fighting no one. Oh my
Nobody.
god.
Speaking of Cena and
Yeah.
Batista, I think what Cena needs to find is the role that Batista found in Drax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Right?
I don't know,
He
but he's
needs
going.
that role. He needs to find that role first before he transitions to movie star. It's like how The Rock, I think, found Hobbs from Fast and Furious, or I think another character
Not the
because
Scorpion King.
I'll be honest. For
no,
me, The Rock is not Hobbs. The Rock for me is like all his comedy
Roadblock.
films.
Oh, okay, at least that's
For
you.
me,
For
The
me, it's
Rock
gonna
is
be
comedy stuff.
yeah. For me, it's Hobbs or
The Scorpion
Roadblock
King.
from GI Joe.
The Scorpion
It
King.
didn't feel like The Rock to me. It just felt like, oh, that's Dwayne Johnson. Okay, Dwayne Johnson, the actor.
I'm hoping that what's it? John Cena finds that role in the Suicide Squad, right?
Oh yeah,
Because he's
Peacemaker.
playing Peacemaker, right? Yeah.
And I think they're gonna make an offshoot, I think, TV series or movie
I
on
don't know.
Peacemaker as well.
Yeah.
So I
So
Do you
hope
think they
that
ever
means
offered him to play Hollow Man 2 or something?
actually, yeah, that would be the best meta. They missed the boat on casting Cena in The Boys as
or
Actually,
translucent.
yeah, I would actually
Right?
like. I would be actually really
It
amused.
was just there. It was just there, man.
or if he wants to act in like a horror film, The Invisible Man, right? Like that was also a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah.
And I would straight up see like a monster film where the guy like just pulls wrestling moves on the monster to try to survive.
Yeah, but I don't know. I really do hope. And if there's anything if there's anything to it, right? Like it's James Gunn that directed the Guardians of the Galaxy film and is also directing the Suicide Squad film. So like if he was able to bring the best out of Batista, I'm hoping that Gunn can bring the best out of John Cena as well.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
right.
these guys, they just have to find their spot because there are lots of actors we saw that were kind of awkward. Heck, Keanu Reeves took a while to find his spot as well. Like,
Right.
he had these two periods. He had this period where it was young Keanu when it was Bill and Ted. Then Matrix, like, Neo was kind of like, you're kind of there, but it didn't really stick around until, like, we had, like, more modern, like, old Keanu who's just super weirdly family friendly in a strange way. I don't know how to describe it, even though his films at all are not family friendly.
Family friendly. John Wick, family friendly.
No. Like, his persona that he's just such a nice guy.
Oh well,
Even
yeah.
all his characters are so like,
Oh.
what the heck is this? It's like such a nice juxtaposition of like how he is, then how you see him in the films. Like, oh wow, okay.
Right,
If you
right.
appreciate how much he is as an actor, like you see, wow, okay.
Well, I don't know, because I've always had this impression of Keanu Reeves as just being
I don't know. I find him to be the stoner guy as well, especially Speed. Remember that?
yeah, or like what was the name of that? What was the name of that? Like even when he was playing the villain in Much Ado About Nothing, when he was playing Don
Oh
John
yeah, he was there. I watched that one. That was my
right?
character at one point.
Right? When he was playing Don John in Much Ado About
Yeah.
Nothing, he was just
I
exactly
remember.
the same. He was like a plank of wood. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. I followed
yeah,
that
man.
acting style for my try.
Right? So
I saw
I
that
did what to
show
do.
as well. And
Like,
I
that was
finally
one
got
of
my glass in
yeah.
the last show. Never gave me a glass until the very last show. I was so annoyed by that.
I
I
don't
had
know, like
nothing to play with.
the Matrix, even arguably Bill and Ted. That was you could see like the Keanu Reeves as like a dos por dos sort of.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Like so I don't know. He has one trick, but by God, he does it really well.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like Arnold.
Yeah, kind of like Arnold, right.
Arnold found this stick. What was it? Just Arnold. Got it. Just don't be anything else. We need you to be Arnold in this thing. Kind of like Jim Carrey. For the longest time, Jim Carrey's stick was just being Jim Carrey.
Right.
Which I remember was a big complaint about Batman, where it wasn't the Riddler. It was Jim
It was
Carrey
Jim
dressed as the
Carrey.
Riddler.
Right. Yeah.
The
Remember
same way
it was Mr. Freeze was just Arnold
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger as Mr.
the
Freeze.
best one-liners ever.
You're not gonna put me in the
In
cooler.
the cooler. Time to kick some
Chill
ice.
out.
He was I don't care what people say. For me, he was the best Mr. Freeze. I loved him. He was amazing.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. It was the first. I think his was the first Mr. Freeze after Sinapol Dini um made Mr. Freeze really cool in Batman the Animated Series, pun completely intended. Um right? Because like prior to Batman the Animated Series, Mr. Freeze was just like a dude that froze
This had like Froze as a
people.
shtick, yeah. It's only
Yeah.
until they brought in his wife and things. Though I heard that they rebooted his origin story again.
Yeah, I mean,
I've not checked it, but apparently he's been updated once more. But I did like the whole like he's doing this because he's trying to save his wife. Gave him a nice, very interesting side to him, not just simply, oh, I'm a villain doing this.
yeah.
Kind of like
I mean,
with Captain
that's
Boomerang.
yeah. That's how they wrote Batman the Animated Series. Maybe with the like exception of the Joker. But like
Oh
all
yeah,
of the
Joker.
other,
There's so many Jokers. Think about it.
yeah. But
They were never like what describes a joke? Like what is a Joker character required here? Because that's the only one that's not consistent. Like there's Jenny no real origin, no simultaneous origin story, appearance, MOs are all generally different. The only thing I understand is supposed to be the current opposite of the current Batman. Is all I
Yeah.
understand.
Well, what's his face? What's his face?
Heath Ledger.
Jeff Johns has
Jeff
like
Johns.
a current ongoing like series about there being like three Jokers or something. But like I'm not caught up on it either. But like
Because
going
like
back
he's
to
yeah.
oh no, I just want to say that going back to Batman the animated series, the way they would write their villains was really good. Like it was always they had good intentions,
Mm.
but
Okay.
it somehow went wrong in the execution.
Anyway,
So
guys, I
what they were
gotta go.
saying,
Being called for
oh,
work. I'll try to be back. Okay.
all
Yep.
right,
Okay.
man.
See you. See you.
Well, this is a first.
So Bodega 101. And what's that
Hey,
spell? 2. No, wait, no, that's not binary. Binary is 1 and 0.
man. What? Yeah. What was it? Batman the animated series always wrote their villains in that way, which was pretty cool. Like there was a lot more nuance to the position of the villains, and their being villains had nothing to do with their intention and everything to do with their execution,
Yeah.
which which is really deep for like a kids show that was coming off of the back
Well, in
of like
fairness, I
80s
never
cartoons.
considered it a kid show. I watched as a kid, but looking back to it as an adult, it felt like it was really targeting like young adults more than kids. I mean, every
Yeah,
other show is trying to target like kids, but I mean, sure they had the toys and things, but really, let's break down the stories, the style, everything. This is meant for an older audience, far older than when we were watching it for sure.
yeah, probably. But I don't know. That was the thing about it though. It was it had a lot of like really broad appeal, which you can
No cookie
sort
cutter
of
villains beyond the henchmen. And even the henchmen at some point started getting their own quote unquote personality.
yeah, which was
Like,
pretty cool.
yep, like that favorite GIF everyone likes posting about that, or that video clip of that henchman going inside the room, seeing Batman. Then just like quietly closes the door and like turns like, anything there? Nope. Just
Yeah,
walks
yeah,
away. It's
yeah,
almost like, oh, it feel like people. It's not just I'm a bad guy. Oh no, I have to punch you now.
yeah. Which is I don't know. Like that was the first time, at least as a kid, that I could remember thinking about that sort of thing. Like the difference between good guys and bad guys is the decisions that they make,
Mm-hmm. Decision
right?
to make, and well, I guess no, in fairness, I got that appeal of thing the one time with Superman, just because I grew up with both Superman and Batman, though I got Batman a lot more. But
Right.
Superman, I kind of just always saw him as that guy, like he's going to win. This becomes what does he do to win and how does he handle it, which I always found interesting.
Hmm. Right,
Because like
because
he's like his hero that you can't beat me because you can punch me harder or you have a weapon. No, it doesn't really work that way except for the kryptonite. But becomes this whole insane endeavor of if I do it this way, people might get hurt. That's why I even found his like Lex Luthor to be such an insane character because he's not super powered. Like if Superman wanted to, he could literally just punch him and he just explodes.
yeah, yeah, that's the that's how you write Superman, right? That's how you make Superman interesting, because Superman is not about the power of Superman; it's about the restraint.
Yep. And it's
Yeah.
something I don't think people fully get. That's why I've always found it interesting when people try to compare the old debate of the Goku versus Superman thing.
Right. I mean, because
And some
completely. Oh no, I think we're about to say the same thing,
yeah. Yeah, you go ahead, man.
but like completely unhinged. Superman would just kick Goku's ass in a nanosecond, but because
Yep.
of who he is, he just can't.
Yep.
So
Especially actually I'm surprised that the new version of Superman I feel might be almost as overpowered as the
the go-
original one.
the golden
It's
age.
getting to that point where it's like almost I mean Golden Age still destroyed a galaxy by sneezing, which I think was its
Yeah,
utter
that was
point of
insane.
stupidity. But I know in New 52, they're already showing that he has no limit to his ability. So they're essentially
Hmm.
saying it is like Golden Age. It's just you won't see that. Like they won't do that for a scene, but they want to kind of let you low key know he so could do that.
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, just for the people that might be all like, yeah, we do know that like DC has moved beyond the New 52, right?
Yeah.
Like they did Rebirth and tried to fuse the continuities and all of that. It's
Oh
just
God.
the first time that I can remember, the first time we can remember like the Superman in this current in his current iteration starting to become a little bit more powerful incrementally was towards the end of that New 52 run.
Yeah.
Um,
Still actually have a
that's
few of those things left to read.
that's the thing about Superman though. Like Superman's power is like a couple of years ago, right? He got that new that new like Super Saiyan power type thing where he just like blows up or something.
Yeah.
Right. Um,
Like he absorbs like most thing, he can like explode energy or something.
yeah, so something like that. And I remember people talking about that being all like, "Oh, Superman, new powers." But then, like something that people seem to forget is that Superman's powers have actually been evolving throughout like time, right?
Yeah.
Because like in the first Action comics, Superman didn't fly,
Yeah, he did. He jumped
right?
at one point.
He could leap tall buildings in a single bound. When I was a kid,
Yep.
I used to find that so weird. They're talking about Superman being able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Of course he can. He can fly, right?
Yep.
like
I, I think
when I
there's
look at it,
even one like cartoon or something that explains you can fly. No. I can just jump really well.
yeah, sort of
I
like
know. I don't know if it's Superman or someone else made a joke.
there was that's how they explained like Thor, right?
Yeah,
In the
he swung
MCU.
his hammer and he holds onto it.
Yeah, so technically he's not flying, he's like using kinetic energy.
I feel like physics needs to talk to him. No, that's not how this works. You cannot build up that much energy.
It was uh when they were having that debate in like Age of Ultron, right? When you put it in an elevator and the elevator goes up, does that make the elevator worthy? Like there was
Because I remember that was a big thing also with like reason why what's his name? Vision could lift it up. Is it his worthiness or him being a machine?
yeah. And it's sort of like I remember seeing a comic book panel where Thor hung like Mjolnir on like a coat rack or something. Like
Yeah.
is the coat rack worthy? So like, I don't know.
I still love those like random like scenes in both the cartoons and comics where Thor has held down villains by literally just putting the hammer on their chest and just kind of like sitting down and talking to them.
Yeah,
Like you can't get up.
wouldn't that physics really does need to have a talk to like
Yep, with that hammer. Like, excuse me? Because
right?
even Captain America has described the hammer as being very balanced and lightweight. So it's not heavy. And I think it's been confirmed multiple times. It's not a heavy hammer. It's just magically bound.
So
Which I don't
if
even know if it's true today, if it's still magic or science. I'm kind of getting back and forth with them. It's kind of weird.
right, so
They even went back on themselves.
if you're like a villain on the ground and Thor puts like Mjolnir on your chest, that wouldn't be like a crushing feeling. That would just be like you lying down, and if you try to stand up, like you can't.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Like, it's not like there's a heavy weight, but it's like there's something's holding you down.
So like
Like I mentioned, like akin to like imagine lying behind like a rock overhang, something like this. Then you're there. You just it's not like you're trying to lift the rock up. It's like it's pushing you down. It's just simply holding you down. It
yeah,
doesn't crush you.
so that would mean that Mjolnir is kind of flying in a way.
Yeah, in a weird way.
In a weird way, it's flying. So
Because Magneto used the hammer by just simply using his magnetic powers in one of the comics. So I remember.
yeah,
So he lifted it by I have magnet. Die. The same
so,
way one of the villains hit Thor with the hammer by picking up Thor and using Thor to hit the hammer.
so like let's yeah audio format, but whatever. So if this is like your dude and this is like Mjolnir on the dude, what's to stop the dude from just doing that?
shimmying off.
Yeah, just shimmying off to the side, like, oh,
I'm free.
I don't know.
Man, they should make like Asgardian handcuffs. Just make it that way too. Just hold them. Oh, I'm trapped. No. Haha.
Right.
Just have like ankle locks. You can't move now. Oh, this is
Actually,
horrible.
that'd be really cool though. Like if they had like ankle locks that were um bound by worthiness, right? They just be like stuck on the ground, like damn, can't move.
DC would be going, you're stealing our lasso of truth shtick. Something like that. But now we're gonna make it like a whip or something. It's like, oh, it's like a bolo of worthiness. It just hits you. If you're worthy, it won't trip you. I could imagine that's like a weapon, like, haha, the bolo of worthiness. Please don't use this on flying enemies. It's not great. Usually they're not worthy, and it ends up very messy.
Yeah. Hey, catch!
And the thing is interesting about the worthiness, I think it's changed so many times. Like, what is the definition of worthiness?
Yeah.
I know Captain America, though being able to lift the hammer, was never canon, if I remember right. Or does the MCU make it canon? Because long time he's done that a few times, but it's never been considered quote unquote canon.
Basically, it's never been 616. 616. I really don't. I'm not. I haven't gone.
Because the closest I remember,
extensive.
like one point he was able to use it was like Odin gave him a temporary pass to hold the hammer at one point.
Yeah, I mean it isn't. But the worthiness thing about the hammer isn't anything that's sort of inherent to the hammer, but it was just like Odin, messing with people.
Oh,
Like
I remember that version too.
right, it was just Odin messing with Thor or something. Like it was an enchantment of Odin or something that made the hammer unliftable for those that are unworthy.
Hmm.
So
And again, knowing, but that's oh god, I just remember that Odin, the way they portray Odin also changes so much.
yeah,
Like there's been versions I've seen Odin where he's like this all-powerful evil god, and other times he's just so lazy and detached. And there've been versions where he just literally just watches things and doesn't care. He's also a character that's gone. Like Thor has had more consistency versus his dad. Same
yeah,
with Loki. Like his dad's more been like an in and out. Hera, I'll be honest, I actually never remembered Hera much from the comics.
yeah.
It's only the movie's like, oh yeah, she was a thing, wasn't she? I completely forgot about you.
It's like, well, if we look at comic books as sort of from that point of view of semiotics, as images that have meaning or signs and symbols or whatever, and we compare it to language. When you look at language, like Spanish, right? When you conjugate your verbs and all of that in Spanish, there is like a sort of system to it.
Yeah.
Right. But then the first thing you will always learn is you will always have like exceptions to your conjugation rules. So, when you say estar, it becomes estoy and not estor, right? Because there are exceptions. Apparently, the more commonly used something is in a language, the less likely it is to change. And
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
guess because of constant use, it just kind of sticks it somewhere in a weird way.
yeah, yeah. Like our verb for being, when we
Mm.
conjugate it to the first person, um, it isn't I be, it becomes I am. It
Yeah,
transforms, right? Whereas every other verb, the infinitive is the same as the first person singular.
yeah,
Like eat becomes I eat, right? But then
yep.
be isn't I be, it's I am, right? Because it's something that's used so commonly. And it is the very common things that stay the same while the rest of the language changes, right? So the change in the more common words, the more common sort of conjugations and all of that stuff, uh, well, the more common stuff stays the same while the rest of the language just cobbles along in its linguistics through time, or language through time changing sort of way. And I think it's sort of the same thing with comic book characters. Like your main characters, those mainstays are the ones that retain their personality um
Yeah, I guess.
more
I mean, I guess a good
consistently.
example of that one is like Guardians of the Galaxy, to how they are in the movie, to how they originally were very different to how they're portrayed in the film.
Right? But then, like, if you
They
look at,
cooked
say,
certain aspects, but that's it.
yeah, whereas if you look at a character like Batman or Superman, um, you know, s- there is very little change except maybe like in the 80s, which was when, but even then, like, there's very little that changes in these main characters because there has to be
Actually,
some
yeah,
sort of
even when they turned quote
consistency.
unquote evil, like when they did the Injustice thing, they were still very recognizably Batman and Superman, even though they became the quote unquote evil version.
Yeah, yeah. Have you have you been reading Injustice, or was it just the game?
I read half of it, watched the movie, and played the game. The reason why I stopped reading it was mainly because I ran out of material to read it. I could not worth to go anymore.
Right. Well, I don't know. It's one of the best. It's one of the best like stories currently out there in
Oh yeah,
comics.
that's why I kind of got referred to it. But then I had a few copies, read like, okay, I don't know where to get another copy of this because, well, the comic book stores are kind of hard to go to in the last 2 years. Not even
Right.
know where they are anymore. At some point, I was thinking, should I just go to like order it online? Couldn't figure. Oh wait, there's a movie out, so I'll watch that one. I guess it's somewhat similar. It felt close, but it felt like it was lacking a lot of things.
Yeah. It's probably one of the best stories to come out of comics in the past like decade.
I will agree because it gave a very interesting aspect to show the amount of restraint and amount how easy it is for the quote unquote heroes really just to go straight up evil.
Yeah, it was sort of again, going back to Batman the animated series and the way they wrote that. It's sort of playing around with that same idea that, the difference between the hero and the villain isn't the motivation but how they execute that which motivates them, you know.
Yep.
Um And funnily enough, the Joker kind of had it right that like one bad day can turn somebody. But then where he got
Oh
it
yeah,
wrong,
that was the when in Injustice it's when he killed Lewis Lane, or no, he didn't kill Lewis Lane. He was able to use the Scarecrow serum or something gas
yeah,
onto thing. Which when I first saw, I kind of got confused. of How's Superman how Soup's affected by gas? Feels like
uh,
something he should have like immediately. They're like, no, that doesn't work on me.
yeah. Well, there right? It's that same
But
sort of
that
idea,
scene there where he just like, yeah, pretty much punches Lewis into powder.
right? So there, that whole one bad day can make the difference between a hero and a villain. Um, Maybe not necessarily as fatalistic as that, but you know the thing that separates a hero from a villain is how they move forward past that one bad day, right? Like, if you look at this is why I like Batman, right? Classic example of one terrible day that got him to be Batman. And it could have just as easily gone in the opposite way if he
Yeah,
wasn't
he could have
heroic.
easily become like a Brutes to become the kingpin of some sort. Honestly,
Yeah,
with the amount of
yeah,
like influence he still had, he could have gathered.
right.
Except there's one hero who does go back and forth, and that's Captain Boomerang, who I
Like
grew
a
up with him as a
boomerang.
villain, which then he became a hero because I remember he was actually a sidekick for some people and became a side hero, but then became a villain again, but then became a hero, but then became a villain, then just became like a villain with high moral standards.
Yeah, they really like doing that, huh? Like comics really like doing that. Like look at all of the X-Men. They've all been like, or look at the X-Men Rogues Gallery. They've all been like heroes
Oof,
at some
yeah.
point, right? Like, um,
Yeah, but
yeah,
Boomerang's the only one who goes back and forth. I don't know if it's a play on his name. That's why they do that.
could be. I don't know, like Suicide Squad. They're all like heroes and villains at some point. Deadpool. Well, Deadpool is
No,
completely.
Deadpool for me is a perpetual sidekick side character who we love but also get annoyed with. Like he's a character that I can't. I enjoyed the Deadpool films, but a Deadpool film is a film that at best I can watch twice. Like for me, he's a fantastic guy to play off another hero. That's why I love Deadpool and Cable so much. It was a fantastic mix.
Right, because like Deadpool's like wackiness with Cable's like Cable being the straight man, sort of like no.
Yeah, like Cable pushed the story forward, and like Deadpool, like, things are going well. I can fix this.
Right, so I don't know.
Because Cable by himself, I'll be honest, was kind of he felt like Punisher, but not. It's like what I saw Cable as. He's like Time Cop Punisher in my head when I first saw him. Then his first introduced in X-Men. Like, you're kind of amusing, but you're not really my thing. But then when the Cable Deadpool series came out, like, this is fun. I didn't think so. I thought it'd be like a weird, like, 1-2 shot thing of weird shtick. Like, oh, this is actually really good.
It could have been like, one shot of, but then it just gained traction. And I don't know. To me, like you can't think about Cable without thinking about Deadpool.
Yep. That's why I was so excited when they actually brought them in for the second film. That's when. So are you saying the third film might be a straight up Cable Deadpool film? I would take that. I don't know how many times it'd be rewatchable. I bet at the very minimum 2.
Where is he? He's joining. Yep. He should be here. I don't know, because like Martin, just a peek behind the curtain for the 101 episode. We record on Zoom now, and Martin is back. Hey, Martin is back, like down there. There's Martin, and that's Miko.
I'm on top now.
Oh no!
Look at me. I am the top of the pyramid now.
So yeah,
picking order.
Got called work. Shit went down. So I'll just be here a bit briefly. How do I say this? So what were you guys talking about?
Comic books.
Oh,
very adult things.
Yeah, dude.
Most recent conversation is actually that we're pretty much talking about the superhero and villains, the way they are, and what made them who they are. Pretty much like the whole like dynamics of how storytelling has changed and how it's pretty much reflective of stuff, and how Captain Boomerang goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite side characters.
But now that you're back, Martin, let's continue talking about Bodega Nights through the years.
Well, Bodega Nights
comics as well.
Yeah, it started.
It actually
with
did.
Talking about comics, man. You guys were talking about the comic books and stuff that time. So
I remember there was one great episode, the one and only time that Dave was on Bodega Nights.
Nakpil?
Yeah, he was.
Really?
Was on,
yeah. It
was a two-parter. I think it was a two-parter. We were at Miko's house. Like 6 hours away from the city. And
I remember that. That's the time you drove back and forth that long night.
Yeah, that was for John. That was really funny. I was like, all right, yeah, cool, I can do this. Yeah.
And your GPS thanked you for creating a road.
Yes, that was so trippy. But what was it?
I'm a trailblazer.
Yeah, John's flight was like in the evening. So I drove back to the city from Miko's like far away 6 hours away from the house, 6 hours away from the city house. Went back to the city to record an episode of the Sunstar Weekly podcast. Then
I remember that show.
Yeah, so I went back to the city to record the Sunstar Weekly podcast after dropping off John at the airport. And when we were done recording the episode, I drove all the way back that other, 5-6 hours. And I thought they were asleep already because like I was just outside. Like gate was locked, honking the horn. Like texting them, calling them, But yeah, there was that was the one and only time, 2 episodes where Dave Nakpil was on the show and we were talking about comics and card tricks. I think.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like
What was
Dave, TJ, and you, I think we're talking about cards. TJ was there, right? Or was he not there?
Don't know. Was TJ
I have to
there?
check out that episode.
Was TJ ever in an episode?
I feel like he might have been at one point.
Is TJ going to be the new Martin, where for the next 100 episodes we're like TJ, and we say something like really awesome about TJ, and he's like the legend of Bodega Nights.
The Legend of TJ.
That
But
sounds
hey,
gold.
yeah, because we're gonna get Joe in a
Inside
couple of weeks
see
already.
what you did
So
Yeah,
like
man.
everyone in the group has Mike ever been here?
Has Mike ever
Yes,
been
right?
on Bodega Nights?
I
Huh.
want to believe he did. I
Seems
really
like-
do.
Right?
I
It seems
recall
like he'd be
him
the
trying
type of person that would be on an episode of Bodega Nights.
Yeah,
At the
least
very
one.
least one.
Yeah.
But it might have been after he moved to Switzerland,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Really? Okay. How did he
2000
not do things? Because like, we all used to like hang out so much, like in Swanky and all the things. He should have appeared somehow.
We started Bodega Nights in 2013. When did he move to Switzerland?
Like
2015?
after that, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't he?
Huh.
I just remember like some weird ghost episode where Kurfürst was there or something.
Yes.
I just remember
right?
something there, but it's a ghost episode. Like I know somewhere he might have appeared. The same thing like with TJ must have appeared. Because Seema's there, David was there, all the main boys have been there. He must have appeared some point. Or was it all a dream? Is this a dream? Was 100 episodes real? It'd be really funny though if we actually checked it. We miscounted by 10 and we're actually in episode 91.
That would be amazing.
I blame it on Spotify if ever, because it counted at 100, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at the number of entries on the list, and that was Spotify last week was like 99. All right, cool.
All right. 100 episodes.
You
But
think
yeah,
they have like weird random things.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, speaking of that, thank you for everyone who's been listening and who's watching right now for the 101st episode of Bodega Nights. It's been awesome first 100 episodes. I hope this starts a good episode series for the next 100, or this may be a episode that can be seen as posts or episodes that have preceded unfortunate events. I hope not. I really hope not.
Hey, 2020 is not done yet.
Yeah, that's right. So there might be freaking
Knocking on
Godzilla or aliens. So I hope that won't happen.
So here we are hoping that it's not going to happen.
Yeah. But I guess I gotta go again. So if ever, on behalf of Miko, Joao, is Martin signing off, guys. You can catch me, I guess, on another podcast. Here.
Wait! It makes it sound like you're like not gonna come back,
That's like you're gonna die or something, man.
or like
No,
you're
nah.
that you're not
You don't
gonna
have to
show up
goof.
on Bodega Nights anymore, dude. Like,
I hope I can next week. I just hope I won't get constant calls again. But it's the nature of the job. Like
until such time
Oh.
that you have a goat head outside your neighbor's door, you're not
Oh
allowed.
no,
to
we're gonna have a repeat of the first like 50 or so
Yeah.
episodes where Martin's just being talked about and doesn't appear.
oh
Hey,
no.
if that happens, Jobber Talk might come back.
Maybe. But first, like Joe said, go Ted.